Today's reading is to honor all of our fathers and father figures. My father didn't tell me how to live. He lived and let me watch him do it. By Clarence Buddington Kellen. Now, I chose this quote today because it reminds me of my dad. I grew up in a household where my mom was kind of at the forefront of all of our pains and problems. My dad kind of took the hands-off approach to parenting. Our last name being Cooley, he took the name to heart. His extremely cool, calm demeanor left for little words about how to live our lives. He never really set us down and told us, how to make decisions. He just lived by example. He dedicated his time, or dedicates his time, to his family, being my all-time softball catcher growing up, or volunteering to coach any sport, no matter what it was. He also was kind of our repairman at home, always fixing our broken toys, broken bikes, all of those things. He lives his life by doing good, being a good person, and we kind of learn from watching him. Now, my second quote today: words have an awesome impact. The impression made by a father's voice can set in motion an entire trend of life. By Gordon MacDonald. Now, I chose this quote because it reminds me of my husband. My husband is the kind of father who looks for teaching moments in everything. He uses his words to teach his kids life lessons in something as simple as opening a juice box to something as difficult as having conversations about the most recent struggle to protect Black lives. My husband uses his words to lead by example. My dad uses his actions to show us the way. Both my dad and my husband are fantastic fathers, and we are all extremely lucky to have them leading us. Now, I use my dad and my husband as examples to show there are very different fathers in the world, or father figures. Each of us has gifts and wounds from our fathers. This is inevitable. Even the best fathers in the world disappoint their children sometimes. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to grow up. But I know that some wounds are deeper than others. Some people's hearts have been broken by their father's neglect or abuse, or by the absence of good fathering in their lives. When Father's Day comes along, while it may be joyful for some, it can bring up the pain others carry from painful relationships with their fathers. It can also trigger grief or sadness for those who have lost their fathers, or whose fathers' lives have been diminished from illness or old age. Let this be a day when we can honor our fathers and also honor our fathering wounds. We recognize today every father who stood as their child shouted at them in anger or frustration. Every father who tried to understand their child's most recent hairstyle or clothing style or new tattoo. Every father who suddenly realized their child might be right and they were willing to listen. Or every father who honestly believed that they were making the best choice they could. We honor those dads who screwed it up, tried again, and got it right. Those who taught us what they knew and forgave us when we got it wrong. Those who wanted to teach us but left too soon, or simply did not know how to teach us at all. We recognize and honor today all of the men who taught us what it meant to be honest, even when it was embarrassing to tell the truth and admit our faults. To be human. Dads are good for that. We recognize those fathers who could not teach us these things because they did not know themselves, but hoped and prayed that we would do better than they did. Today, we recognize and honor all the men who have been there or tried to be there no matter what. They have remained calm in a crisis, or didn't remain calm but didn't run away. Or those who did run away and came back again, or didn't come back but always wished that things would be different. From those that we call dad to those that played a fathering role in our lives. Those that helped raise us and form us into who we are today. We would not be who we are today without those fathers and those father figures in our lives. whether they're like my dad and teach us through his actions, or like my husband and teach us through words. We spend today honoring and recognizing all of those good men in our lives.